We are reading from Canto 10, the Summum Bonum, Chapter 9, Mataji Yaśodā Binds Lord Kṛṣṇa. And we'll start from text 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Kadamba Kanana Swaminiti Namane. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatva Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So welcome devotees. We are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse number 10. Anvanjamana janani brahakchalak shoni bharaka krantagati samadhyama javena vishramishata keshabandhana chutta prasanunugati paramvishat. Anvanjamana janani brahakchalak shoni bharakrantagati samadhyama Javena Vishram Shitakesha Bandhana Chutta Prasuna Gati Param Vishrita. Anvanchamana Janani Brahakchalak Shroni Bharakrintagati Samadhyama Javena Vishram Shitakesha Bandhana Chutta Prasanu Nugati Param Vishat. Synonym, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anvanchamana, following Krishna very swiftly. Janani, Mother Yaśodā. Brihat Chalat Shroni Bhara Akrinta Gatihi. Being overburdened by the weight of a large breast, she became tired and had to reduce her speed. Sumadhyama, because of her thin waist. Javena, because of going very fast. Vishramshita, Kesha Bandhana, from her arrangement of hair, which had become loosened. Chutta Prasuna Anugatihi, she was followed by the flowers falling after her. Param Visat, finally captured Krishna without fail. Translation. While following Krishna, Mother Yaśodā, her thin waist, overburdened by her heavy breast, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
I can read, Mataji. Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities. But Mother Yaśodā, despite of all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between a yogi and a bhakta. Yogis cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Yashya Prabha Prabhavo Jagadananda Koti Kotishu. Brahma Samhita 540. In that effulgence, there are millions of universe, but the yogis and gnanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many, many years of austerities, where bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. This is the example shown here by Mother Yaśodā. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yas chashmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tad anantaram. Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktas enter even the planet of Krishna very easily, but the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nishtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Virim Yatkripātam aham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. So thank you, devotees, for joining. So here in this verse, Prabhupada is continuing from the previous verse, which showed the difference between bhakti and bhaktas and the yogis. So yogis are ones who are meditating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord, on the super soul, and bhaktas they are fully engaged in the service of Krishna or Bhagavan. When we say Bhagavan, it includes all the three aspects, and it includes of the Supreme Absolute Truth. It includes Brahman, it includes Paramatma, and it includes Bhagavan. So when bhaktas are engaged in Krishna's service, when bhaktas are meditating on Krishna, this includes all three aspects of Krishna: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And in this particular verse, we are at the part of the Leela where Mother Yaśodā is chasing Krishna. And our acharyas described that this chase was very intense. She's running after Krishna, and although Krishna, even though she's running at a greater speed, Krishna always outran her. And the distance between both of them, Mother Yaśodā and Krishna, was always remained 1 arm length. So no matter how hard Mother Yaśodā was trying, she was not able to reduce the distance between them. And no matter how much Krishna was trying, he was not able to increase the distance between them. So here Mother Yaśodā was trying to capture Krishna. In this verse, Prabhupada also say that yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities. So yogis in the past and mystics in the past, they have tried to capture Krishna in the past. Like even after running at a greater speed of mind for thousands of years, they are nowhere close to Krishna. And not just the yogis, even powerful demons, they have tried to capture Krishna, and they have failed miserably. And for demons, Krishna did not even have to run, did not feel the need to run even. Even though Krishna is just walking and the demons are running behind Krishna, still they are unable to capture Krishna. But here is a simple gopi from Vrindavan who was so close to catching Krishna. And when we say that there are powerful demons who have tried to capture Krishna, one example comes in my mind is of Jarasandha. So Jarasandha was a demonic king, and he tried to attack Mathura 17 times. He tried to capture Krishna so many times. But all the 17 times he failed. And each time Krishna used to defeat or kill the army of Jarasandha. And then Jarasandha used to come back again with more soldiers, more demonic kings who were supporting him in his pursuit. So, and on the 18th time, Jarasandha had already attacked Mathura 17 times. On the 18th time, when Jarasandha came, he came along with Kalyavan. So Kalyavan is a very powerful demonic king, and when Krishna and Balaram they were coming out of Mathura, they saw Kalyavan coming behind them, So Kalyavan is running and Krishna is simply walking. And he kept shouting from behind, "Hey, stop running, stop, fight with me." Like that, Kalyavan is saying to Krishna, behave like a Kshatriya. But Krishna is only walking and Kalyavan was running. And even though Kalyavan was running, he was unable to catch Krishna. But here we see that Mother Yaśodā, she's not a warrior. She was not able to run faster like Jarasandha or Kalyavan, but still she was able to capture Krishna. She was able to catch Krishna because of prema bhakti in her heart. And when she was chasing Krishna, out of habit, she ordered Krishna to stop. Hey Krishna, stop running. And because Krishna is so used to following Mother Yaśoda's orders, Krishna froze for a moment. And Mother Yaśoda almost caught him, but then he again ran. When she was running behind Krishna, on seeing this effort of Mother Yaśoda, seeing her greatness, the flowers on her hair began to fall. That's what Prabhupada says, that and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. So the flowers began to fall from her hair, and it was as if they were worshipping her achievement, because she was about to do something that no yogi or no mystic or even great devotees are able to do. She was about to do something that the great demigods with all their powers are unable to understand. Even the exalted devotees, what to speak of demigods, the exalted devotees, they're always aspiring to catch Krishna's lotus feet. But still they are unable to do that. But here is Mother Yaśodā is trying to capture Krishna, and therefore in her honor, in this achievement, the flowers are glorifying Mother Yaśodā. So it is said that when in the next verse we read when Mother Yaśodā finally catches Krishna. So when Mother Yaśodā, with her last effort, she extends herself and grasps Krishna's arm. At that time, both of them they come to this halt, and then it took both of them a minute to catch their breath because they were running so fast. So we see how Krishna, who's the supreme person, he is actually showing these his qualities which he has never shown before. One of the names of Krishna is Dur-Dur-Dharaha, one who remains unknown to great yogis. Even though yogis chase him, they try to understand him, they capture him in their heart, but Krishna remains inaccessible to them. So Krishna is clearly showing that he cannot be conquered, cannot be caught by, cannot be known by intelligence, he cannot be known by scholarliness or any austerities. Any smart brains cannot hold Krishna, but he can only be captured by love. So we see here Mother Yaśodā was not a yogi who did years of austerity. She was not a jnani who had studied scriptures thoroughly. She was not even a mystic. A mystic is a person who has attained 8 perfections, Ashtanga, who performs Ashtanga yoga, but she was not a yogi, a mystic who had achieved great powers. She was not a warrior like Jarasandha, who could run at a greater speed. She was a simple mother who loved with all her heart, who loved Krishna with all her heart. And Krishna allowed himself to be caught by the power of that love. The second verse of damodarashtakam, the last line of that verse goes, Sthita grevam damodaram bhakti bhattam. That means that here Lord Damodar is being caught by, his belly is tied not with ropes, but with bhakti, with pure love. Bhakti bhattam, his mother's pure love. Like that, Krishna has, in this particular pastime of Damodar Leela, Krishna has given up so many qualities of being Lord. Because one of the names of Krishna is also Atmaram. Atmaram means one who is self-satisfied. He doesn't need, he's completely independent. The very first verse of Bhagavatam says, Janmadhyasya yaton vayad itaratas charthesh abhigna swarat. Swarat, he's independent. He's not dependent on anybody. But Krishna is showing this quality that the way he's crying for his mother's milk he's showing that he's dependent on Mother Yaśodā. So he's giving up this quality. I'm not Atmaram anymore. And another quality that he's giving up is of being dur daraha. That is the essence of this verse, that someone who cannot be known by great yogis, he allowed himself to be known by the very simple Mother Yaśodā. The meaning of Yaśodā means one who gives fame. And our acharyas describe that one of the reasons why Krishna enacted this pastime was to increase Mother Yaśoda's fame. So the meaning of Yaśodā is one who brings yash or fame to Krishna. But Krishna in turn wanted to bring fame to Mother Yaśodā. And we see that most of the festivals that we celebrate, they only last for, they're celebrated only for a day, or a pastime of the Lord is celebrated for a day. But this particular pastime of Damodar month is the only festival that is celebrated for an entire month. So just one single pastime is being celebrated for an entire month. An entire month is dedicated to the greatness of Mother Yaśodā. And Krishna is showing that if we bring little fame to Krishna, Krishna in turn brings us lots of fame. Our acharyas describe, there are so many reasons. Again, they say why Krishna enacted this pastime. And another reason why Krishna enacted this pastime was also to establish the significance of bhakti, or the supremacy of bhakti. Bhakti is because bhakti is actually a combined outcome of a person who is a sadhaka, or for a person who is approaching this process, and Krishna's grace. So in other processes we see that, like a karma kanda or other spiritual processes, our outcome or success is dependent on the effort of the person who's practicing. And when we approach a process with such an attitude, where it is only entirely dependent on us, then it leads to pride of being the doer. Kartaham iti manyate. But in the process of bhakti, the scope of becoming proud of one's practice is much less, because that's not the only exclusive deciding factor. Because the attitude with which I am approaching Krishna, or we are approaching this path of bhakti, determines whether Krishna will give us mercy or not, whether Krishna's grace will descend or not. And that's the beauty of bhakti. It not only depends on us, it depends on Krishna. We are dependent on Krishna for his mercy. So in this particular pastime, we'll be seeing that Mother Yaśodā is capturing Krishna by her love, and defeating all those yogis, jnanis, mystics. So simplicity of heart is defeating the complexity of intelligence. She's not a scholarly devotee, but yet she's simple at heart, and that's why devotees are so special. They are so close to Krishna. Yesterday it was disappearance day of Narottam Das Thakur, and we were singing some bhajans that he has composed, and all the bhajans are so amazing. They are full of nectar. They are capturing the essence of bhakti. And when we were singing these bhajans, we reflected that how these bhajans, he has covered, the way he has composed these bhajans, he has covered, he has glorified everyone. The Panchatattva, the Yugal couple, Shri Radha and Krishna, the 6 Goswamis, his own spiritual master, Loknath Goswami, and Vaishnavas. One of his bhajans about Vaishnav that he has written is E Baro Karuna Karo. In that verse, one of the verses of that bhajan goes like this: Tumhara hridoye sada Govinda Vishram, Govinda kahine mora Vaishnava param. So what does this mean? Tumhara hridaye sada Govinda Vishram. That O Vaishnav, in your heart reside who? Govinda. But Govinda is saying, Lord Govinda is saying that in my heart, my Vaishnavas are residing in my heart. Vaishnavas are my life and soul. They are my Govinda kahine mora Vaishnav param. That means they are my life and soul. So Krishna is, showing that how he comes under the control of his devotees. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse on in Adi Leela 5.142, which goes like this: Ekale Ishware Krishna arasabhabhritya yare yaiche nachaye se taiche kare nritya. That Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller. Ekale Ishware Krishna. And all others are his servants. Arasabhabhritya. Bhritya means servant. So then the translation goes like, so the servants are dancing as Krishna makes them to do. But here we see that Mother Yaśodā is making Krishna dance. Krishna is coming under the control of the servant, because when this verse is saying that Ekale Ishware Krishna arasabhabhritya, that means only Krishna is the controller and all others are his servant, including Mother Yaśodā. But the glorious, part of this Leela is that Krishna is showing that he is coming under the control of the bhakti of that servant. So unless there is pure devotional service, unless that, how Prabhupada used to say that this attitude of service, that love for Krishna is inbuilt in us. It's not something that we have to develop. No, it's already there in us. But again, we have to work towards it. So unless there is bhakti, there is pure love in our heart, Krishna cannot come under the control of the servant. In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami gives 64 qualities of Krishna. And the 40th quality is Prema Vashyata. Prema Vashyata means it's controlled by love. So Krishna comes under the control of the Prema. So what does this mean? That means Krishna is becoming obliged to the loving spirit of the devotee, and not exactly to the service rendered, but to the loving spirit. Because if we actually see Krishna as Atmaram, he's so complete, he's so self-sufficient that actually he's not in any need of that service. He's completely independent. Nothing can satisfy Krishna because he's already satisfied. But it's the devotee's attitude. It's the devotee's attitude of love and affection for Krishna that makes him obliged. And in this particular section of Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada gives 2 examples about of the devotees, 2 devotees example where Krishna is coming under the control of the devotee. One example he gives is Sudama Brahman. And who is Sudama Brahman? Sudama Brahman is Krishna's childhood friend. And he's very poor. So due to his poverty, he was forced by his wife to see Krishna and to request some help from Krishna. Although Sudama did not want it to go, he had no desire to get anything material from Krishna. He was not in any need of any wealth or jewelry or money. But Sudama was only looking forward to seeing Krishna, meeting Krishna. And when Sudama Brahman reached Krishna's palace, Krishna was so pleased to see him. Krishna received him very well. Both Mother Rukmini and Lord Krishna, they washed the feet of Sudama, showing respect to the Brahmanas. Krishna made him sat on his throne, and he ate the chipped rice that Sudama's wife had sent. And it is said that when Krishna was meeting with Sudama, he was remembering the childhood pastimes that he, all the memories that he had with Sudama. And just remembering those, Krishna began to shed tears. And he was actually washing, it is said that he was washing Sudama Vipra's feet with his tears. And why is that? Because Krishna was attracted to the love that Sudama had in his heart for the Lord, and that conquered the Lord. And another example that Prabhupada gives in this quality of Krishna is of Mother Yaśodā. That's the glory of Mother Yaśodā. The essence of this pastime is that we also want to love Krishna so much so that we can also one day capture him by our love. In one of the lectures of Prabhupada, Prabhupada was giving lecture in Mumbai in Pandal lectures, and this lecture is from, I think, December, where Prabhupada is saying the goal of bhakti is to capture Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, but if we cannot capture Krishna, then at least choose Krishna over Maya. So when we are tempted or when we are distracted, instead of choosing distractions, instead of choosing temptations, we choose Krishna. And the more we choose Krishna, one day we will be able to capture Krishna. And then Prabhupada goes on saying that, okay, if you can't capture Krishna, the first is if you try to capture Krishna. And then second, if you can't capture Krishna, try to choose Krishna over Maya. And the third point Prabhupada says that even if you cannot choose Krishna, because your mind is troubling, it takes you everywhere. So even if you can't choose Krishna, keep coming back to Krishna. So if we have made a wrong choice, or if we are suffering the consequences of the wrong choice that we have made, then at least we try to come back to Krishna. And then we try to connect to Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, Prabhupada goes on saying, and he gives a very funny example, or probably because Prabhupada is so observant, Prabhupada is saying, try to connect to Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, it is actually nonsense to say that we can't remember Krishna ever. And then Prabhupada gives this example that how, in India, women are so busy in their household affairs. But regardless of how busy they are, their hair is always organized. Prabhupada giving such a funny example that, however busy the women are, but they are very particular about the bunch of hair. That's how Prabhupada uses this word, bunch of hair, how they are carefully keeping that bunch of hair on their head. And then Prabhupada is saying that although, we are very busy, so devotees is like that woman, and remember Krishna is like the bunch of hair. So even though our life sometimes, gets busy, or we are distracted, but if we remember this, that we keep coming back to Krishna, we choose Krishna, and like that, we'll be able to remember Krishna. So coming back to Krishna, that's the point Prabhupada is saying. And if we keep doing that, then we'll be able to follow in the footsteps of Mother Yaśodā. Krishna is doing this pastime of, stealing butter, being caught by Mother Yaśodā, being tied by Mother Yaśodā. He actually showing the world that I am Bhritya Vashyata. I'm coming under the control of my servant. I am controlled by my devotees. And who controls Krishna? It says, Swa api nape Krishnena, that he is controlled by himself. He's the Supreme Lord. And not only that, he's also controlling Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. But he is deciding who will control me. And he's deciding that his mother will control him. So such a beautiful pastime in glorification of Mother Yaśodā. Mother Yaśodā is a very simple gopi. She is not a philosopher. She has not given any classes. In fact, her life is actually the subject matter of all the classes. And that's her glorification. That's the beauty of bhakti. And that's the beauty of Mother Yaśodā. We may argue that, Mother Yaśodā captured Krishna because he was in the baby form. So it is easy to capture a child versus an adult. But actually, when it comes to Krishna, there is no such difference between Krishna as a child or Krishna as an adult or Krishna as a 16-year-old. Because we see he was able to kill Putana when he was only a few days old. So there was no scarcity of strength or any of his opulences when he was a baby. And Mother Yaśodā is such a glorious devotee that she's able to capture Krishna. In this chapter, particular chapter, verse number 20 goes like this: Nemam viranchano bhavo na shrirapi angash shamshaya prasadam lebhire gopi yat tat prapa vimuktidat. It is actually, the translation goes like this: neither Lord Brahma, nor Lord Shiva, nor even the goddess of fortune, who is always the better half of the Supreme Lord, can obtain from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer from this material world, such mercy as received by Mother Yaśodā. So, prasadam lebhire gopi. Prabhupada translates, mercy obtained by Mother Yaśodā. And that's the glory. So, even though Prabhupada is saying that Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi Devi, they are not ordinary citizens. They are not ordinary people. But still, only Mother Yaśodā was able to receive that kind of mercy. So she's amongst, she's actually the embodiment of Vatsalya Rasa. So, what is the lesson for us here? We may say that, Mother Yaśodā is a close associate of Krishna. She is Nitya Siddha devotee. She is eternally liberated soul. But what about us? I am a Nitya Baddha devotee. I am eternally conditioned. I have so many material desires. I have my desires knows no limit. But Bhagavatam actually has answer to all of this. Bhagavatam says that akama sarva kamova moksha kamova udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param. Akama sarva kamova, whether we have material desires or whether we don't have any desires, or moksha kamo, or we are desiring liberation, whatever situation we are in, by all means we are worshipping. If we worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead, that's the crux of bhakti. That tivrena bhakti yogena. There's a verse that my Guru Maharaj often used to quote from 6th Canto. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agam dhunvanti katsena niharam meva bhaskara. So the verse translation goes like this, that one who has adopted this complete unalloyed devotional service, Vasudeva Parayana, to Krishna, they can uproot all the weeds of the sinful reactions, all the desires, with no possibility of that they will come back, they will revive. And then Prabhupada gives this example that just by discharging devotional service, niharam eva bhaskara, that how the sun can dissipate the fog by its rays, Similarly, devotional service actually does that for us. Prabhupada, gives explanation of this particular verse. He says that one who is simply devoted to Krishna, one who is simply devoted to this devotional process, and always being in Krishna consciousness, for them, they can get out of all the sinful reactions. And how Prabhupada gives, Niharam means dew or fog. So, in the morning when we see there is some dew on the grass, some on the tree, but as soon as there is sunrise, everything dissipates, everything is finished. So if we bring forth this Son of Krishna in our life, then all the darkness in our heart disappears. And that's the power of devotional service. The last verse of Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says that the essence of all advice is that 24 hours a day, we are utilizing our time in chanting, in remembering Lord's divine name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Like that, when we are following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, when we are following in the footsteps of our acharyas, then the path becomes very easy. Sometimes when we become few years old in the movement, or few months old in the movement, or we have been chanting 16 rounds, following the regulated principles, we may think sometimes that, oh, I have heard this class before, or I have heard this pastime before. It's okay if I don't go, or if I don't follow, if I don't listen to Bhagavatam class one day, I can catch up later, like that. If we think like this, then that's not the recommended way, because the process is very simple. Prabhupada has given us chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulated principles, and you will come back to me. My Guru Maharaj says that Rishi Uchu in 6th Canto, I think, where Prabhupada gives this example that how Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu had to keep this, Krishna had to keep word of Lord Brahma, and that, how he had promised Hiranyakashipu that I will not come, I will not be killed by any man, any animal, in the day, in the night. And so Krishna had to keep that word, whatever Lord Brahma had promised. Similarly, when Prabhupada has told us that if you chant 16 rounds and if you follow 4 regulative principles, you will go back to Godhead, then we must go back to Godhead. That's what my Guru Maharaj says. If Prabhupada has told us, then we will go back to Godhead if we follow in his footsteps. So we don't have to invent the wheel. We don't have to do something extraordinary. We just have to do the same thing every day, but with more absorption, having that sense of purpose, setting our intention, our sankalpa right. And our sankalpa, our intention is that I want to please Krishna. I'll just end with this last quote from my Guru Maharaj. So, how in devotional service, when we practice, while practicing devotional service, we may become we may become familiar with the process. And, in becoming familiar with the process, and also by following the process, sometimes we take it for granted, or sometimes, like how they say that when we are practicing devotional service, fame comes, or we get accolades, we get external attributes. Like that, we may get recognition. So in this regard, my Guru Maharaj says that in spiritual life, in the course of a service, we may get recognition. We may get so many facilities and so many external attributes. Over the years, we may collect a library of books, our fancy chadars, our fancy dhotis, saris, everything. But in a spiritual crisis, all that we have is the Krishna consciousness within. Therefore, we have to make commitments within. Internally, we have to say, yes, Krishna, I will put you first. I will put you before my senses. I will put you before my mind. Yes, whatever you say, Krishna. So, such a beautiful quote. All that matters is our inner consciousness, inner Krishna consciousness. What matters is the taste that we have acquired in serving Krishna. And as Prabhupada says that the goal of the bhakti is to capture Krishna. So I'll stop here and see if anyone has any questions, any comments, any realizations. Okay.
Mataji, one realization I want to share, that this was a very, very wonderful class. Thank you. Very, very nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. All glories to Prabhupada and the books that I'm reading from the Acharyas. Nothing is of my own. Thank you. So we'll stop here. Anyone else? Grantraj srimadbhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaidhavi Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay.